Hi everyone, and welcome to the TurtleBand YouTube page. Today I'm going to be doing another unboxing video, and today's video is a bit of a special one to me because this is an item that I've been anxiously anticipating. It's an item that was announced back in April of this year, 2022, and it wasn't originally meant to be out until November of this year. But in the last few weeks, we got word that the release date had been moved up. So it's actually started coming out now in the last couple of weeks. I've just got mine today. So without any further delay, as you may have guessed from the t-shirt, the pre-order that I'm talking about is indeed the Hasbro Marvel Legends Spider-Man Renew Your Vows 2-pack with Spider-Man and Spinneret. And what's really exciting about this is the first ever Marvel Legends Spider-Man to have pinless joints and to have toe articulation. So this was, well, was very exciting, so it's still very exciting now, but this was incredibly exciting when it was announced, seeing the photos of it. So yeah, I can't wait to crack this open and get a look. The other thing that's quite curious about it, just before we open it up, is as you can see, this is the new window-free, plastic-free packaging. So everything on the box is just plain cardboard. I'll just switch it around here, just let you get a look. Along the top here, you can see we have the brand new Spider-Man 60th anniversary logo. On the front, we have some figure photography here of the 2-pack of the figures. On the back, we have some more figure photography showing the accessories, and then on the sides, we have some. I believe this side is figure photography, and then this side is the art. Just to tip that down there, apologies. This is the art from the box as well. So, or sorry, not the art from the box, the art from the comics, I should say. So the 2015 Renew Your Vows comic. So, without any further waiting, I'm going to roll the titles and then we're going to get this unboxed. Now it is time for Miss Mary Jane Parker's big debut. So this is Renew Your Vows Mary Jane as Spinneret. So here we go. So here is a quick look at Mary Jane, if I can just get her to stand up. So this is entirely my fault now, just trying to pose her. What do we see? So there's a little bit of an error here, but those, I'm assuming they're meant to go around like this and then have these little cuts here to the back. So let me just see, there we go, that's a bit better. I'll just pose her back a little bit there. Yeah, so this is Mary Jane. Why don't we try and get her standing again? I had it and I messed it up. Try and distribute the balance a little bit more. This is going to be a little bit more awkward than the Peter. I think this is just by the nature of these don't help for articulation, like for actually trying to get her to stand. These don't help. I think these are hindering some of the articulation on the ankle because it's pushing back against it, and that's what's making it hard to get her to stand. So maybe if I try putting them to the side. Renew Your Vows comic fans, I do apologize if this is the wrong way. It's purely just to try and get her to stand. There we go. So again, this is Renew Your Vows Mary Jane. So this is her Spinneret costume. This, as I understand it from my quick research for the video, this is a suit that allows Mary Jane to drain the powers of any metahuman that she's near, in this case Peter, so she can mimic Peter's powers. This is a suit that Peter creates for her. The tech is built into the suit, and it allows her to use his powers, to leech a degree of them, but it leaves Peter very weak. So this is how Mary Jane becomes Spinneret. She becomes Spinneret to fight alongside Peter to protect Annie. So why don't we just fix that? So Annie, of course, being this Earth's Peter and Mary Jane's daughter. So we'll try and get her a bit more flattering pose. So we'll just give her a quick turn around here. So one thing just to give a shout out on that I'm very happy with is I, touchwood, don't seem to have any QC issues, quality control issues with my figures. My quick glimpse here, there's no paint apps, nothing wrong, doesn't seem to be anything wrong with articulation. The reason I bring this up is I did see a post from someone who got this set recently in the UK, and this part of Mary Jane here, and the neck, the shoulder and the neck were not painted. So it was just red, but the white, I'll try that again. The white lines is what I was trying to say for the webs weren't painted on. So what do we just say? So with Mary Jane here, articulation is probably a bit similar to Peter's. So we have turn the head. Head can move back and forth. Yeah, this is on a ball joint peg as well, so I'll get this off in a moment for the alternate head. Her arms here, so we've hinge at the elbow, or sorry, at the shoulder I should say, so shoulder, hinge at the shoulder, goes up, down, can rotate round a full 360. We have a swivel here at the bicep. We have double jointed elbows as well. Now, with Mary Jane, because the female Marvel molds are a bit thinner, the arms are thinner than Peter's, so be careful, be gentle with her when you're posing, because I can feel it's strong, but it is a bit flimsy too. It's in comparison to the Peter, it's more flimsy. It's gives me more cause for concern because the peg for the hinge, or sorry, the hinge, not the peg, is a bit thinner, so you can feel that. So we just bend the arm there. So there's that's one joint, and then there is the second joint. So if we bend them on their own, I'll just bend that second joint there. There you go. And then, whoops, all the way up again. And then at the, whoops, just be careful here, at Mary Jane's hand, so it's same as Peter, it spins around. There is a hinge at the wrist here as well, so it can go in and out. And then I know that this will pop off, same as the Peter, but the same on this side, so can go all the way around, hinge at the shoulder, double joint at the elbow, so, and then if we just, that, so this one's giving me a little bit more bother. I'm just going to turn her around, put a little bit of pressure. Oh god, no, that's very stuff, I'm not risking it. So I'm going to have to heat up that joint because that's not moving. So the bottom joint is fine, that top joint is not moving, and I'm afraid to try and move it. So again, swivel at the bicep here as well, and then hinge at the wrist. There we go. And turns the full way around here. Then with Mary Jane we have not an ab crunch, but we do have an ab rocker, so it can swivel from side to side here, can rock back and forth, can actually go back quite a bit, so I have a feeling this might be a ball joint, so you can put her quite far back. I'm not going to lie, I'm not sure why you would, unless maybe you're trying to have her do a matrix pose to dodge something. The rest of her body then, her waist, this is all just one solid piece, so can't move this. So it's just molded right down to the joint here where the legs are. And then the legs, so we have up and back, and this kind of, again, same as Peter, because of the mold of the back there, it just swings out instead of going straight back. So you can kind of see there, it swings out now at an angle instead of just going straight back. And then leg can go in, and it doesn't go that far, it is stopped here, so be careful. So it can go in and out. Swivel here at the top. We also have double joints at the knees, so I tend to bend the bottom joint first. That tends to work, so bending that, then a little bit of pressure, yeah, and that came just nicely. So that is the top joint as well. So doing them on their own, that is the top joint, and then on its own, this is the bottom joint. And then moving down, we have these little flares, I want to say. I'm not the most fashion conscious man in the world, I must say. So they have a little cut here. They look to be like little kind of web flares. These can just spin around the ankle, as you saw me do at the start of the video. Then there is a hinge as well at the ankles. So they hinge up and down. And then we have a, yeah, we have sort of a rocker ankle. We have a swivel at the ankles as well here. So you can kind of just see that there. There we go. And yeah, that's it. And then just the same on the other side. So forward, backward, in and out, swivel at the leg here, double joints. So that is the, yep, that's the top joint, and then there's the bottom joint as well. And then down at the bottom you have the little flares here again, and then hinge at the ankle. This one's a little bit stiff, so hinge, yeah, not just a little, this is very stiff. I have to be a bit careful with this. So what do we see? So there's the swivel or the rocker ankle. Let me just try, there we go. So there's the hinge. So very cool. Not as much articulation as the Peter, but then I knew this going in. Hasbro have said, you know, the point was that the Peter was the most articulated in the pack. And then Mary Jane, there's nothing wrong in my opinion with this figure. This is a standard, to me, Marvel Legends figure. You know, so this is pretty common for most of the figures. Now, a couple of things that I find very interesting. So just I'll grab Peter again here just for example, so you can see. Yeah, so on the back of Peter, there's no holes or anything. Now, I've just noticed there is this little indent, which is curious. I'm not too sure what this is. So it's like a little circle and two little dots at the top of it. But the reason I bring it up is on the Mary Jane, there is two peg holes here. So there is one just on her shoulders and one just on her back. Now, if we just quickly check the box here, I'm not sure personally what these are for. I'd imagine it could be maybe for a web cape attachment. If Spinneret ever has one of those in the comics, maybe so you can take it off another Spider-Man figure and put it on. I'm not entirely sure. There's certainly nothing in the box to show what these are, so this is very curious to me. If anyone knows, please let me know in the comments. I'm genuinely very, very curious to find out what these are. And then what we'll do is we'll just get the Mary Jane's bag opened up here. So this thing again, just a little paper bag, just no sellotape or anything. I should have said that before. You can see it just opens up. It's almost like a paper. It's not plastic, but it kind of feels a little bit like a, it's very much paper. Like I suppose for anyone, especially in the UK, you know, if you ever got what we would call a 10p mix or a 5p mix, basically 5 or 10p's worth of sweets, it feels like a thinner version of those bags that you would have got in the shop when you were buying a sweet mix like that. And then here is our unmasked Mary Jane head. So this could be quite handy as well. So you can see you have Mary Jane is Spinneret, just like the comics art, has her hair tied up in a bun, whereas this is the more traditional Mary Jane look with her hair hanging down, flowing free. So I've seen a few people do Mary Jane costumes with the Marvel Legends House of X Moira McTaggart figure. So you could potentially, you know, use that figure if you have it, or any other Marvel Legends female figures or compatible figures, and swap the head for this Mary Jane and have a civilian Mary Jane as well, using an existing figure, which is quite cool. I quite like that. So we'll just pop Mary Jane's head off here. So there we go. That was quite easy, which is very nice. So again, we have, it is the ball joint. This one doesn't move. I think there was, oh, okay, that's interesting. So there's actually, oh god, I have to be careful. So unlike the Peter, I'll double check the Peter again just to see, but there is actually a hinge. It's very tight on mine, so be careful with yours, but there is a hinge here where you can hinge the figure back. So I'll just have a quick look at the Peter, see if Peter has one and I missed it. Yeah, so Peter has a slight hinge here at the back, so you can, very, very slight. So Peter has a full collar here, and then a cut at the back to allow it to hinge back there. So we'll just pop that back on, just get Peter quickly out of the way there. So we'll just pop the Mary Jane head on here. Perfect, and there we go, that just fits on really, really well. And looks pretty seamless as well. So that's, I really like this actually on the Spinneret figure. We have, very similar to the Peter, we have two web crawling, whoops. There we go. I'll get it right. We've, oh, there we go. We've two web crawling hands. We have one web spin or web slinging hand, and we have a closed fist. So what's great is both figures, including the hands that they have already when they come out of the box, essentially have 6 pairs of hands each. So that's very cool, and that's another thing for the price point of this package, I should say, is that we are getting alternate heads, we are getting extra hands. You know, so it's caused a bit of controversy, and I'm not going to go into it too much here, but we've just had the Spider-Man No Way Home 3-pack announced. That's causing a lot of controversy at the minute, because that's £100 UK sterling, has Repulse, and that's just the 3 action figures, no, presumably alternate hands, but no alternate heads. So this, considering this is 2 figures, and we're getting 6 pairs of hands and 2 alternate heads, as well as the masked heads, that's pretty good value in my opinion. I think this works out really well. So we'll just do same as the Peter, because Mary Jane is using the same powers as Peter, so we'll just get her down here. I'll just pop this in. Just try the same as the Peter, see if we can get her into a bit of a crouched web spinning pose. So we'll just get the knees here. So what do we see now? So this could be hindered slightly by this. Now thankfully these are just rubber, those little flares, so they're not too bad. Do you know what? Oh, I don't want to speak too soon, but the Mary Jane ironically might actually be easier to get in this pose than the Peter. Either that or I was just very bad at posing the Peter, which is also equally valid. Let me see here. Oops. Might have to rock this forward a little bit. Can we do it? Can we do it? Just need to try and balance her forward a bit. Distribute the weight a bit more evenly. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. Oh, there we go. Yes, on camera as well. So there we go. There's Peter, or Peter, forgive me, there's Mary Jane, in a very Peter-esque crouched spider web slinging pose. And I just have to hold on to her ankles to turn her here, because otherwise she will fall down. But that's quite cool. And again, same as with Peter, I'll actually swap Mary Jane's head back, and we'll try and just get a quick wall crawling pose here as well. So just pop these off. Again, I love how simple this is. Sometimes it can be very difficult. It can be very kind of hope and pray that you don't break them. Oops, put the wrong. So busy talking there, I put a web slinging hand on what I meant to put on a crawling hand. But yeah, I love just how easy it is to interchange the parts out here. This is so handy, so cool. You know, we don't have the benefit of the toe articulation we have with Peter, so we'll have to try and cheat this a little bit. But no, actually that's okay. That's actually pretty good. That's very, very Peter-esque. Actually, we'll just hinge Mary Jane's hand down there, hinge the other hand, just so we get our hands touching the table here, get our fingers touching. There we go. So that's kind of Mary Jane, their own wall crawling. I was going to say web crawling there, but that, I suppose that's valid too. Their own wall crawling pose here. So that's just so cool. Like really, really cool. Just give her a quick swing around here just to show. So yeah, so there we go. So that's the Mary Jane there. Yeah, so there we go. So I just had to quickly break the camera there. We just come back. So again, this incredibly cool figure. Just bend. So there we go. Just answered my own question. Just realizing I said before, why would you need to have Mary Jane arch back that far? And that's the answer. Is wall crawling. I've answered my own question there from earlier in the video. I've just realised. So one last one for Mary Jane. Realised one iconic Spider-Man pose that I did with Peter that I haven't done with Mary Jane was the web slinging pose. So I'm just going to recreate that now. So I'm popping in the closed fist into Mary Jane's left hand here, and the right I'm just going to pop in the web slinging hand. And so we'll just try this again. So same as the Peter, have the arm raised as if holding on a web line, have the hand out, and bend the knee round, and bend the ankle round there. So, do you know what? I could be on my own with this, but I think I actually prefer posing the Mary Jane, just in terms of the articulation. I think the actual less articulation is slightly easier to pose, as I suppose as paradoxical as that sounds. Yeah, I love them both, but I don't know. Maybe because I've already done it with Peter, maybe that's what it is. Because I've done it with Peter, I find it slightly quicker doing it with MJ here. So, there we go. Classic kind of swinging pose there. So, swinging and actually, there we go. It's a bit more maybe. Move her leg down a bit, maybe, yeah. Kind of a classic Peter and mid swing there. So we just grab there, maybe that. Whoops. There we go, that's a bit better. And if we just, so we could have Mary Jane then just swinging in here and swinging then from the other side. The only thing I wish is I see all these web line attachments, you know, like Peter spinning a web or shooting a web. I really wish we'd got one of these figures, like just, you know, even one that you could share between them. You know, it would have been so nice, it would have been so handy, but as it is, I'm not going to complain. I love everything that we've got here. Well, I'm just going to do something very cheesy here if this works. So get Peter here and pop the Spider-Man head back together. Just switch out Peter's hands and just put on his web-slinging hands here. We'll just have a quick pose of Peter here. So just get twist it around there. Whoops, it's trying to fall over on me there. We'll just get Mary Jane now. Just try and get Mary Jane in a similar pose. Let's see how we get on here. Like, there's only, whoopsie-daisy, there's only a little bit of articulation that Peter has more than Mary Jane, but honestly, it doesn't affect the, you know, the Mary Jane figure is no worse for it. I don't feel like there's still an incredible figure. Yeah, no, it is. It's an incredible figure. I mean, the Peter, pun intended, is an amazing figure. This is, oh my god, this is the Spider-Man figure of our dreams. And anyone who says, you know, the amazing Yamaguchi Peter, or one of the Tom Holland figure arts, I mean, I haven't got them, so I'm not even going to attempt to argue with you over which is better. It's one of those things of everyone has their own. For me personally, this is incredible. This is the Spider-Man that I personally have wanted all my life, and this thankfully was at a price point that I could afford. So just to leave off, I'm going to warn you now, very terrible joke here, but the couple that web slings together stays together. Yeah, I know. If anybody stays with me now, it's greatly appreciated. I had to get that joke out there. I wasn't going to say the other obvious one because I'm trying to keep it PG, but I had to get that out. So there we go. That is the figures. I mean, final review. If it wasn't clear already, I absolutely love them. This figure has, or not figure, sorry, this figure set has completely surpassed my hopes, my expectations. Cards on the table, I bought this for Peter. I had no interest. I love Mary Jane as a character, but I knew nothing about her as Spinneret. I had no interest in the Spinneret. I was buying this set for this Peter, for a pinless, fully articulated Spider-Man in the classic costume. That 100% was why I was buying this. But now, having both figures together, this is even better than I hoped. The Mary Jane has just completely blew away my expectations, just because I wasn't expecting anything really. I wasn't really bothered. I was like, you know, well, it's Mary Jane, I'll have it and it'll be cool, it'll be alright. But having this figure and just, you know, she's an incredible figure. I love the articulation, I love the design, I love the sculpting. I mean, it's really, I would say it's exceeded my expectations, but only because my expectations were so low. And that's not a dig at this. That was my own opinion, just looking at the photos, having it in hand, blown away, completely changed my opinion. The Peter here, oh my god, what can I say? I've not already said. You know, sculpt, articulation, the colouring in the figure here with the deep blue and the red, it's just all incredible. You know, again, the best way I can put it is for the price point, I would argue this is easily the best Spider-Man that we've ever had and possibly will ever have at the price point. If you have the chance, if you're a Spider-Man fan, absolutely buy this set. This, in my opinion, is a set that's going to become very desirable. Not just now, but going forward in future. And as I say that, I've just noticed as well an extra little bit of articulation on the Peter. Butterfly joints. So I didn't realise that, so you can just see it here. The Peter, it was just as I was chatting, just looking, I didn't even realise. So like the G.I. Joe line and the Power Rangers line, I'm nearly sure the G.I. Joe line has it. Power Rangers definitely does. It has butterfly joints. This is not something that we often see on Marvel Legends. I'm not even sure if there's ever been a Marvel Legends figure with butterfly joints yet, or if this Peter's the first, but the butterfly joints are something that are fairly standard at this point with the Power Rangers line. Again, I believe with G.I. Joe as well. So do you have it on a SpiderMan as well is just incredible. So there we go. I love this set so much, and honestly, if you haven't got it and you can afford it, absolutely go out and get it. If you're a Spider-Man fan, you will not regret it. Possibly the best set we've got yet, my humble opinion. And so that's it, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. That's my overview of this 2-pack of the figures, my thoughts on them, my review of it. Really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please feel free to like the video, comment on the video, share it as well, subscribe to the channel. It all greatly helps me grow the channel here. If you're interested as well, I have another unboxing video up on the channel at the moment. I unbox the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mirage Loot Crate, so that's crate number 3 of series 2 of those boxes. And also, as I mentioned in that video, I do have some things that I've put aside ready for unboxing. So the next video that will be going up on the channel after this one will actually be an unboxing from that pile that I've saved up. So they've been saved specially for putting on the channel here, so keep an eye on that. That should be out now over the next few days, and then over the coming weeks I plan to have more videos up, certainly more unboxing videos, and we're going to try and have some other content too. So again, if you like what I'm doing here, look, please don't hesitate to like, share, comment, subscribe. It's all massively appreciated. I'm on social media as well. I'm on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Please don't hesitate to have a look there. The Instagram, I have all my toy photography. Twitter, I have updates as well about the channel here, just things I'm doing in my daily life, things, you know, geek interests I'm passionate about. So every social media, there's crossover between them all, but they each have something different too. So don't hesitate to have a look and engage. I mean, hopefully can't wait to hear everything you have to say, and you know, keep this going, and please go out of more videos and keep this growing and see where we go. So that's it for me. So again, look, thanks so much for watching the channel. Hope you all have a fantastic week, and take care. Bye.